Welcome to STEM Kits from iBio Institute and into an experience of simple biomedical engineering. This video will guide you through a scientific testing of commercial bandages so that you can use what you learn to design your own bandages. Your bandages will undergo the same testing to see how well they hold up. My name is Kathy, and my family and I will guide you through this engineering challenge. In this STEM kit, you will be doing carefully controlled testing of 3 bandages: the commercial bandages, the waterproof bandages you designed from the first challenge, and the knuckle bandage that you designed from the second challenge. Scientific testing changes only one variable, while every other factor is held as constant as possible. In this investigation, our changed variable is the bandage. Everything else in your testing should be kept exactly the same. Scientific exploration also means carefully recording everything you observe. The charts in your kit will give you a place to do this as we move through our investigation. Are you ready? Let's get started. Everyone has skin. Skin is an organ on the outside of our body that prevents bacteria from coming in. But in everyday life, we break our skin periodically, and when that happens, bacteria can come to the inside, and we obviously may leak some blood. Infections are very dangerous, so since ancient times, we've had ways of dealing with wounds to try and prevent infection. Some of our earliest documentation of wound care are found in hieroglyphs from ancient Egypt. They note 3 things for caring for a wound. First, washing it well. Second, making a type of plaster. And third, bandaging the wound. Most people are not familiar with what a plaster is, so let's take a look. So, what's a plaster? Well, a plaster is a mixture of a bunch of different things, usually a little bit of fat. Now, I'm using butter, but they used animal fat, so that'd be something like Crisco. We just don't have Crisco here. Honey, because honey has antibacterial properties, and lint. They would gather together lint. So this is what this would look like. We would take a little bit of honey and we would add it to the fat, right? And we'd mix it up so that it was still kind of sticky, and you can see that down there. And then we would take a little bit of lint. Now mine came from the dryer. Theirs probably would be white and cottony, but we would mix that in. So now we've got this mixture, and it's kind of sticky and kind of oily, and I would put that directly on the wound and spread that out, and I might actually put a cloth over the top and kind of close it off, but this would protect the wound from bacteria. Modern families are a bit spoiled because we have bandages that have adhesive so it sticks to your skin. But they didn't used to have this, so they would always have on hand a loose fabric called gauze that they would have just in case someone was injured, and you can see in this graphic how they would put it together. If you would like to do the extension and your family has some sort of fabric that you can use, go ahead and try and bandage up a pretend wound. If you do decide to do this, please make sure that you take pictures and that you post comments about what you thought about either the process or what it would be like to wear a bandage like this. It's almost impossible to do this process by yourself, which is why the invention of the adhesive bandage was so fabulous. The original Band-Aid was invented by a couple. The husband would come home and his wife would have injured herself, and so he created this Band-Aid that had a piece of cloth with stickum underneath, and then he put a piece of gauze there. And he brought it back to his company, Johnson & Johnson, and they turned it into a commercial bandage. Now, when you got it, it was generally a big sheet. This happens to be a big Band-Aid. But if you needed a piece of Band-Aid, you would take out the sheet and you would basically cut the bandage the size that you wanted it to be, and then it had a special backing that you could peel off, and the gauze would stay clean, and you would just take that and put that on top, and then this would be what was in your medicine cabinet. It's helpful in an investigation to be organized. Take some time to set out the materials from your STEM kit and anything else from home that might be helpful, like scissors and water. You can also protect your work area with newspaper or plastic. Once you can see everything you have to work with, you're ready. What makes something a great bandage? It's different for everybody. Some people like the shape, some people need a certain stickiness or maybe a texture on the outside. And your family are going to be testing our commercial bandages. So as a family, you will need to decide which of the features are the most important for a good bandage. Not only will you have to choose, but you should also figure out how you're going to test it so that as you test each bandage, you are giving each bandage a fair comparison. Being consistent and repeatable is part of what makes an investigation like this scientific. We need to control what we're looking at and make sure that we're following the same procedure so that when we see those differences, we know that those differences are authentic. One of the other things we do in scientific experimentation is we make sure that we keep good track of our data. If you were given a journal with your kit, you will see that there are 3 data charts, one for each of your bandage types. You can also download the data charts from the web page, or you can actually design your own. Our data charts have room to test 6 features. You and your family should record the 6 features that you decided upon in your data chart and be ready to start to test each one of these features. Each child should have a bandage of each type, but you will be looking at your results and together you will decide how to describe what you see and how you're going to rate each one of the bandages. You also want to make sure that you designate what are the best design features for that bandage and what kinds of improvements would be needed in order to make this a really great bandage. There's no right way or wrong way to do this kind of testing. You simply have to decide what procedure you're going to follow. There are some suggestions in the instructions for some of the tests that might be a little bit trickier, like waterproofing or how absorbent it is. You can use those procedures as they're written, or you can alter them so that they better fit your family. Whatever you do, make sure that you are recording your data. You will be rating each bandage on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Together as a family, look at your observations and decide what rating you think you'll give it and why. Once you've tested your first bandage, go ahead and move on to the second bandage and do testing again. Make sure that you save all of your testing materials because after you have designed your own bandage, you will be testing that bandage using all of the same materials and procedures. I'll bet you're ready to start testing. All of your instructions are here. Just pause the video and remember that what makes this scientific is the quality of the data that you take. So make sure you write down all of your thoughts. Good luck! Engineering involves using your data to design a solution to a human problem. We are all new engineers, so it helps to have an engineering plan. The first thing that we're going to do is define the problem. We're going to come up with some possible solutions, and then we're going to build a model of what we think are our best ideas. Now, remember that we already have our tests, so we're going to test our model using the same criteria that we did for our commercial bandages, and then we redesign whatever flaws we see to make that bandage better. Okay, so we've tested out a bandage and we now know that we want our bandage to have a couple of characteristics of this kind of bandage, but also a couple of characteristics of this kind of bandage. So we have some materials that we can work with. We have our gauze, right? We have some gauze. We have a lot of extra gauze, and so you're gonna only wanna use what you need. We've got some tape. Pete's got some tape there, and we happen to have 2 different kinds of medical tape, so we have 2 to choose from. But we also have, because we want to make a waterproof bandage for the back of our hand, we also have some other things that are somewhat waterproof. We have some plastic and we have some wax paper. So what we need to do in our journal is all 3 of us are going to be doing a little bit of planning. So we're going to use the planning guide and we're going to decide what it is we want our design to look like. So we can then use our materials to manufacture 2 of those bandages. And then we're gonna test them out the same way we did when we were looking at the commercial bandage.
Use what you've learned to sketch your design for a waterproof bandage for the back of your hand in your journal. Then use your materials to build your bandage design. Pause the video now and get to work.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take what we've learned from the first 2 parts of our exploration, and we're gonna try and figure out how to make a specialized bandage. We're gonna try and make a knuckle bandage that will go over the first knuckle. Now this is what a commercial bandage looks like, and so you can see a little bit about how this is engineered, but you need to engineer one with the materials that we have left that are gonna cover your first knuckle. You'll wanna make 2 copies of that bandage, and again, you want to use exactly the same test you did for the first 2, and you wanna test your knuckle bandage. Be creative, try and think outside of the box, and help each other. When you get done with your design, make sure that you take a picture of it and post it on the Facebook page, and make sure that you also write down what you liked about your bandage, what you didn't like about your bandage, and what you might do differently the next time.
Again, you want to plan ahead. You only have a certain number of materials to use to make your waterproof bandage for the middle knuckle of your index finger. Pause the video and design and build your bandage. Welcome back. Making a waterproof knuckle bandage is quite a challenge. Are you pleased with your design? Make sure you take pictures and post them on the Facebook page so that we can see your design before you start testing. When you're ready, go back and test that knuckle bandage with the same tests in the same way that you have tested all of the bandages so far today. How does this bandage hold up? What are its best features? Where does it need improvement? Engineers are constantly looking to improve their designs. Are you looking for an extra challenge? Rethink your design a little bit. See if you can design a bandage that tells you that it needs to be changed. Can you design a bandage that allows air to circulate but still keeps the wound dry and clean? Good engineers never stop thinking and redesigning. If you have the materials, see if you can solve these problems. STEM kits are a product of iBio, delivering industry-led STEM programs for teachers and students to inspire a new generation of innovators and entrepreneurs. To learn more about iBio and its programs, visit www.ibio.org.